Hello, my name is Noah Wise, and today I'm going to show you 5 really cool vocal production techniques I think everyone should use and learn from. First things first, I might do things a little bit differently than some people do, and that's totally okay. So, first we're going to start out here with a raw vocal. I have put my vocal chain on it from a couple months ago though. This is a song that I actually just released called When We're Apart. Go check it out everywhere where you stream music. Shameless plug. Okay, so here's what it sounds like as it is.
Pull you closer, need you near me, but you're always still so far. Can't stop thinking of how I miss you, 'cause you're always on my mind.
Alright, so it sounds pretty good as it is, but we're gonna spice it up a little bit. So let's say in this situation we wanted it to be a little bit wider and we wanted it to have a little more presence, but not in a way where we're changing the EQ settings a lot, because I think it sounds really great right now. So we're gonna set up a new send to bus 23. You can set it whichever send you want, but this is the one that's open right now. So we're gonna have it kind of low, because what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be distorting this a lot and it's gonna make it really loud. So to start out, we're gonna kind of be a little bit calm with it, you know? So distortion, we're gonna go to regular distortion. I don't have any fancy distortion plugins, so I just use the stock one. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do all the way up, take the output down a little bit, because like I said, it's gonna be crazy loud. Turn the level compensation on just cause, tone all the way up, so it's like really, really going, you know? And you're probably thinking, no, what are you doing? Just watch. So then we're gonna take an EQ. We're gonna get the high pass filter and make it really, really up there. We're gonna drag it to 4K. So then we're gonna take our blue guy here, make a dip at like 10K, so that way it's not too crazy, you know? And then we're gonna cut this a lot because, like I said, it's super loud, and that way we can boost this. Then we're going to, this is the big thing right here, we're gonna get a imager plugin and we're gonna make it all the way wide. And what this is gonna do is it's gonna make an overdriven sound with a high like resonance, I guess you could say, but it's going to be tasteful rather than just clipping the mix bus or whatever you do for that. But this is just how I do it because it sounds better. So we're going to listen to it, see how it sounds, and then tweak what we need to.
Pull you closer, need you near me, but you're always still so far. Can't stop thinking of how I miss you, 'cause you're always on my mind.
So as you can see, there's an obvious but subtle difference. See, it's tasteful. So that's the whole thing about these techniques, is they make a pretty reasonable difference, but they sound good. So without, it sounds like this.
Pull you closer, need you near me, but you're
Without.
always still so far. Can't stop.
So as you see, it sounds good. So you can add compression if you want, just to make it a little more glued together, if you will. But I think it sounds pretty dang good. Alright, so the next tip we have is, it's more of just a thing that everybody should know about rather than a tip, but it's called the Slate Digital Fresh Air plugin. And if you don't know about this, this is like finding out about the gospel for the first time, because this is like a lifesaver. This is like, yeah. Anyway, let's just get on with it. So this is a plugin by Slate Digital. They do some pretty great stuff, and I use it on almost everything. I use it on quite a few instruments, but mostly vocals and hi-hats. This is great for hi-hats. So basically what this does is, instead of using an EQ and just boosting the highs, this will tastefully bring up the high end, and it's like an exciter, but it's not as harsh, so it like makes it sound like nothing you've ever heard before.
Pull you
With something like that,
need
without
you near me,
crazy, right?
but you're always still so far.
So good. So generally 90% of the time I'll have the mid-air higher than the high air, just because you want your vocals to have some more clarity than air. But for this type of sound, I added more higher than mid-air. But you can really just do whatever you want. You can link them so that way when you're mixing, if you like the way the ratio is between the two, you can just boost one and the other one will come up with it. So great tool there. And I don't know if it still is, but when I got it, it was free. So it's a killer deal. So definitely check it out if you're into that sort of thing. This next one is you're lowering the pitch and the formant, but keeping the mix at 50% or less, so that way you've got low and high. You can also do like a whole bunch of different variations of this where you can like have it on a send and then make it wide. That's probably what I generally do, and then like tastefully like put it in like every now and then. But this is how you do it. So you put your vocal transformer. I don't have any kind of fancy pitch shifting plug-in. I just have the stock one. But we got this. I put it before my effects. I made this song when I didn't use sends as much, so that's why they're on the actual track. But how you do it is you lower the pitch by 12 or more if you want. I usually do about 6 on the formant. We're gonna go 50% on this. Just see how it sounds. So let's do it.
Pull you closer, need you near me, but you're always still so far.
So I'm not generally a huge fan of this effect, but on some songs you can use it tastefully. You could even go up 12 if you want. Let's see what that sounds like.
Pull you closer, need you near me.
So I mean, that's not a good effect for this song specifically, but if you want to use it on like a hip-hop record with like ad-libs or something, I probably wouldn't, but if you want to do that, whatever floats your boat. So that's just another fun thing to mess with. My fourth tip is reverse reverb before the verse hits, before the first verse hits. And what this is it basically is where you've got a ton of reverb on a track, then you bounce it out, and then you reverse it, and then it sweeps into the first verse. And a lot of popular songs do this nowadays, and sometimes it's a very fun and tasteful way to introduce your first line. So how you do this is, a lot of people do this different ways, but I've never really done this, but I know you can do it. So we're gonna do a new reverb plugin, and let's see how this sounds. We're gonna make it really long.
But you're always still so far.
Not like that. Maybe like 5 seconds. Okay, so we've got the really long, well, pretty long reverb on there. We're gonna bounce it in place. From there, we're gonna go into the file, functions, reverse. Ta-da, okay. Let's see, is this it? And we're gonna trim it down. This is a really choppy way of doing it, but this is how you do it. And my fifth and final tip is putting an LFO on your vocal. Now this is something I generally do for like a chorus or something like that, or maybe a bridge. But wherever the kick is really going, sometimes this is a fun thing to do. I don't have LFO tool, which is something a lot of people use for this kind of thing. It's something I learned from Jacob Collier. Definitely check out his music, he's an absolute genius. But what I do for this is I use Fat FX. Comes stock with Logic. Turn all these things off, you don't need them. and use LFO1, turn the master all the way up, or just the output. And then we're gonna go master output. This should be all right. Turn the depth negative. You can also do positive if you want to, just changes the sound. You just do it tastefully and it'll sound good whatever you do. So let's see how this sounds. Make the depth a little more noticeable. Here we go.
Pull you closer, need you near me, but you're always.
See, it's kind of pumping.
Can't stop thinking of how I miss you.
Now I made this really noticeable. Generally I wouldn't do it that much, but it's a fun thing to try, you know? But we're gonna disable that effect. And that brings me to the end of the video. So thank you so much for watching this. I hope you learned something from it. And if you got any comments whatsoever about like tips for me, definitely leave a comment because I will take whatever feedback you give me and I will appreciate it so much. So thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time.